The latest episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 left fans absolutely gutted. It tore apart everything we thought we knew about Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad. From a cancelled wedding and a sudden escape to Paris, to bitter words on the porch and heartfelt letters written by Conrad, Episode 9 felt like the collapse of 3 summers worth of love, longing, and heartbreak. And now, only one episode remains. Episode 10 promises not just closure, but also the possibility of new beginnings. While nothing is certain, the seeds planted in Episode 9 give us plenty of clues about how this emotional roller coaster might end. Let's start with Belly's journey. Episode 9 marked her first real step toward independence. She chose to stay in Paris, finally refusing to define herself through someone else's love story. She held Jeremiah's ring but decided not to wear it. She met Gemma, an expat who introduced her to a version of adulthood that wasn't tied to Cousins Beach or the Fisher family. Most importantly, she didn't run home when life got messy, she stood her ground. Heading into the finale, Belly's growth will almost certainly be tested. Will she continue carving out her own identity, or will Conrad's letters and the pull of home draw her back into the triangle? After all, the show's core has always been about choice. But this time, it's not just about choosing between Jeremiah and Conrad, it's about choosing whether to step out of the triangle altogether and keep walking forward on her own. One strong possibility is that Belly finally receives Conrad's letters. Whether through Laurel, Stephen, or Conrad himself finding the courage to send them, those words could shatter her defenses and reopen old wounds. If the finale leans into bittersweet emotion, we might see Belly reading them alone in her Paris apartment, tears in her eyes, but hope quietly blooming in her heart. Meanwhile, Jeremiah's spiral in Episode 9 was one of the hardest things to watch. His grief was messy, his anger uncontrollable, and his cruel words toward Conrad left scars that won't heal easily. Yet his breakdown also revealed the depth of his love for Belly, and just how lost he feels without her. Episode 10 could take Jeremiah down one of 2 roads. The first is rock bottom, where his rage drives away not just Conrad, but also Stephen, Laurel, and Taylor. If he chooses bitterness over healing, he could end the season isolated, angry at everyone, but mostly at himself. The second road, though, is redemption. We've seen Jeremiah's warmth and loyalty before, and the finale could remind us of that side of him. Maybe he reaches out to Conrad to repair their broken bond, or maybe he finds the strength to let Belly go without hate. Even a quiet act of forgiveness could reshape how fans see him moving forward. Conrad's storyline in Episode 9 unfolded with quiet intensity. While Jeremiah lashed out, Conrad chose a different path. He poured his emotions into letters. Page after page, he wrote apologies, confessions, and truths he had buried for years. For someone who has always stayed silent, watching from the sidelines, this act alone marked enormous growth. By writing, Conrad finally chose honesty. The big question for Episode 10 is whether Belly will ever read those letters. If she does, it could change everything, not necessarily by bringing her back to Conrad, but by giving her clarity about the depth of their connection and the role he has played in her life. It could be a moment that reframes their entire story, not as unfinished romance, but as a meaningful chapter in her journey. If Belly never reads the letters, Conrad's arc could still close on a powerful note. Maybe he burns them on the beach, letting go of everything he's carried for too long. Or maybe he hands them directly to Belly, choosing vulnerability over silence. Either way, his growth will shine through, showing a young man who has finally learned to face his feelings instead of hiding them. The finale could also explore Conrad's relationship with his brother. Jeremiah's anger has left their bond fractured, but if redemption is in Jeremiah's future, Conrad will need to meet him halfway. Their connection has always been complicated, defined by rivalry and unspoken love for the same girl. Episode 10 might be the moment they confront those truths, not to erase the pain, but to move forward with honesty. And then there's the bigger picture. The Summer I Turned Pretty has never gone for easy answers. Endings are rarely neat. So, it's entirely possible that Belly won't choose either brother. Instead, she might choose herself, solidifying the growth we've watched unfold in Paris. That kind of ending wouldn't just redefine the love triangle, it would dismantle it completely. Because this story has never really been about one girl caught between two boys. At its heart, it's about three young people learning how to carry heartbreak, responsibility, and the heavy weight of growing up. Whatever direction episode 10 takes, it's clear the finale won't just tie up loose ends, it will set the tone for the future of the series. Whether it's Belly stepping fully into independence, Jeremiah finding the strength to heal, or Conrad finally speaking his truth, this ending will reshape how we see them all moving forward.